What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about the importance of setting yourself up for retirement, and I wanted to go over a variety of different types of tax-advantaged retirement accounts and ways you can set yourself up financially for the future. I want to talk about the Roth IRA, 401ks, HSAs, and even ESOPs, which you can pick and choose from, or potentially take advantage of all of the above. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos. Subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. You can set yourself up a Roth IRA on Webull, and every month they have a promo going on. So if you refer a friend or 2 friends or 3 friends, they give you even more free stocks. Webull link in the description. Everything will be linked in the description. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something. And this was pretty much fully inspired by the fact that I finally been able to start, well, not start making contributions to my 401k. I've been able to, but I'm finally approved for that 5% match. And you better believe I am taking full advantage of that, and I will continue to do so. So I wanted to talk about this along with a variety of other different types of retirement accounts and specifically tax-advantaged retirement accounts. And even when I'm at work, not that it's any of my business, but I'll bring it up to somebody that I work with, or even if it's a friend or a family member. I never ask for specific details. I never say, how much money do you have, or how much do you make, or how much do you save. I don't ask for specific numbers. I don't even ask for specific percentages. I just simply say to people, and I said to 2 people the other day, hey, just out of curiosity, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you take advantage of the 401k? One said, yes, I do. I contribute X% every week. The other one said, no, but I've had that union pension building up for about 25 to 30 years, and I also have equity elsewhere. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, as long as you're, setting yourself up, not that it's any of my business, it's just important to me that the people that I care about are taking care of themselves. That's all. So without any further ado, I wanted to talk about a couple of different types of retirement accounts and the general order of operations of how to really capitalize to the best of your ability. And I wanted to start with the 401k, which is a employer-sponsored retirement account. Generally, it's a blended fund called a target date fund. So if you plan on retiring in 2050 or 2060 or 2070 or whatever, there's a fund for you. It's actively managed, and over the course of your career, whatever percent it is that you choose, whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, whatever, with or without a company match, as you contribute every pay period over the course of your career, during the beginning stages, it's going to be much more aggressive. It's going to be much more stock heavy. And as you age and as your retirement account ages, it becomes a little bit more conservative, or much more conservative, where it becomes more bond heavy for stability purposes. And as time goes by, it adjusts. And this is something that a lot of people take advantage of with or without a company match. If your company offers a 1% match, a 2% match, 4%, 6%, whatever it is, the general rule of thumb in the finance world, the order of operations, is to, numero uno, contribute enough to get the most out of that match if a match is offered to you. So if they offer you a 2% match, make sure at the very least you're contributing 2%. The company that I work for offers me 5%. So yes, I absolutely 100% without a doubt contribute 5% of my check, and they match that 5% 100%. So let's just say, hypothetical number here, let's just say I make $1,000 a week pre-tax. 5% of that is $50, goes right into the 401k, but they match it. So for every $50 a week that I put in, the account goes up by $100. I throw $50 in every week, they throw $50 into my account for me every week as well. They match it, or they match that 5%. So whether they offer you 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, whatever percent, make sure at the very least you're taking full advantage of that, and you're doing at least just enough to get that full match. That is step number 1 in the order of operations. Step number 2 would be, I would say, the HSA. If you are currently enrolled in a high deductible health plan, you are automatically qualified to open yourself up an HSA. An HSA is a health savings account, another type of retirement account. This one is triple tax advantaged. The 401k, it's double tax advantaged. Pre-tax dollars go in and it grows tax-free. Those are the 2 tax advantages. But then later on, you pay taxes. The taxes are deferred. So you get a double tax advantage there, and then you pay taxes later on. The HSA is triple tax advantaged. Pre-tax dollars go in. If they're invested, they can grow tax-free. And then you can use those dollars tax-free. You don't have to pay taxes on the gains, as long as you're using those dollars for health-related expenses. That's why it's another form of a retirement account. The older you get, it's inevitable. Our bodies start to break down. We got to pay for prescriptions. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. The HSA, you can spend those tax-free dollars on qualified medical or health-related expenses, which is unbelievable. And going into 2024, the maximum contribution for the HSA is going to be $4,150. So not a lot, not all that crazy. But if you break that down, that's really only what, $75, $80 a week? Not that bad, or maybe a little bit more. Right now, the max contribution for this year is, I want to say it's either $38.50 or $39.50, and it's being bumped up to $41.50. Maybe my math is off a little bit. But another thing that a lot of companies do is they make an HSA contribution for their employers. I'm sorry, for their employees. So if you have an HSA, a lot of the time, the company that you work for will throw a little bit of money in there. So for me, personally, my company puts $250 in every single year, and I just opened it up this year. Right in the middle of the year, they dropped $250 into the account before I even made my first contribution. So I decided, even though I wasn't planning on maxing it out for the year, and I wasn't even overly educated on the HSA at the very beginning, I decided that I was going to do just enough every week to match what they gave me. They gave me $250 right in the middle of the year, and I was like, all right, I'll just toss $10 a week in every week for the rest of the year, and that should be about $250 worth of contributions plus the $250 they gave me. So by the end of the year, going into next year, the account should be about, or maybe even a little bit more than $500. Now, if I wanted to max it out, and going into 2024, I think that's what I'm going to do. If I wanted to max out the HSA next year, which the contribution limit's being bumped up to $41.50, deduct $250 from that, because that's what my employer is going to toss in for me, there's going to be $3,900 left for me to contribute throughout the course of next year, which comes down to about $7,590. a week. That's not going to break the bank. That's not going to make my life immensely more difficult. I think that that's going to be financially possible for me. That's something that I'm considering doing as well. So recap so far before we move on to step 3. Step number 1 is to contribute just enough to your 401k to get the full advantage of the company match. Step 2 is the HSA. Max it out if you have the ability to do so, or at the very least, make contributions to it every pay period. Now, step number 3 is something that's not connected to your employer at all. The Roth IRA. This is another type of retirement account, one that you can set up on your own. And like I said before, there are plenty of ways or plenty of platforms, plenty of websites and apps and whatnot that you can use to set yourself up a Roth IRA. But if you want to do it on Webull, they offer that as well. So friendly reminder, download Webull, fund your account. They're going to give you up to 12 free fractional shares just for doing so. You can set up a Roth IRA, a tax-advantaged retirement account, and they're going to give you even more free stocks if you refer your friend to the app. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. So the Roth IRA, it is similar to the 401k, except it's not connected to your employer. It's double tax advantaged, but a different type of double tax advantaged. Like I said before, the 401k, pre-tax dollars go in. You're investing with dollars that haven't been taxed yet. You invest them and they can grow tax-free, and then it's tax deferred. You pay taxes later on. The Roth IRA is the same thing, but opposite. The dollars that have already been taxed is what you invest. Post-tax dollars. Then they can grow tax-free. And because of the fact that you already paid taxes on the dollars before you put them into the account, you can cash out later down the road when you're 59 and a half or older, retirement account, completely and totally 100% tax-free. It doesn't matter if your Roth IRA turns into $10 billion. Tax-free. Zero taxes on those gains. That's what the Roth IRA is. Now again, it's not connected to your employer. These are not dollars that are taxed and then your employer tosses them in. Nope, these are dollars that you can toss in from your checking account. It's something that you do 100% on your own. And right now, this year in 2023, the max contribution limit for the Roth IRA is $6,500, $6,500. So if you break that down weekly, it's $125. In 2024, similar to what I just said about the HSA, the max contribution limit is actually getting bumped up a little bit, and they're bumping it up to $7,000 rather than $6,500, which means if you break that down weekly, it's about $134. So if you can afford to max out your Roth IRA, that right there is step number 3. If you can't afford to max out your Roth IRA, at the very least, it is highly, highly recommended that you're making contributions. You don't have to do $125 to $134 every single week. There are people out there that contribute $100 a month, $25 a week. Is that going to add up or compound the same way it would if you were to max it out? No, absolutely not. But guess what? It's still way better than nothing, and it's still way more than the average person is doing to set themselves up for retirement. So once again, quick recap before we move on to step number 4. And by the way, step number 4 is not an option for everybody. It's something that kind of goes back to an employer-sponsored program. Not everyone offers this. The company that I work for does not offer this. This is more of a privately held company, which we'll get into in just one second. It's the ESOP. But quick recap before we move on. Actually, you know what? I just screwed something up. Step number 4, before the ESOP, that's step number 5, my mistake. Step number 4 is you go back to step 1 and contribute even more. So let me do a quick recap. Step number 1 is to do just enough to get the full company match. So if they offer 1% or 5%, whatever, do that. Then move on to the HSA, step number 2. Max that out. It's fairly easy to max out. Max contribution limit for next year is going to be $4,150. Step number 3 is to max out the Roth IRA. Starting next year, the max contribution is going to be $7,000. And if you are still able to afford to contribute more after you get the company match, the full company match, after you max out your HSA and after you max out your Roth IRA, then you go back to step 1 and you work on maxing out your 401k. See, the 401k you can play around with. You can contribute up to 75% of your paycheck. Everybody recommends to do at least just enough to get the company match. So I'll use myself for an example. I'm only contributing 5% because I'm getting a 5% match. If I was able to take full advantage of that, and if I was able to max out my HSA and also my Roth IRA, I would come back to the 401k and I would bump up that 5% to whatever I was able to afford. Maybe I can afford to bump it up to 8%. I'm still only going to be getting the 5% match, but my contributions are going to be bumped up to 8%. And just keep going up and up and up and up to the best of your ability. And you can actually contribute starting in 2024. I believe the max contribution limit is going to be $23,000. Now, does everyone out there have an extra $23,000 that they can afford to push and pump into this 401k? Probably not. I for sure will not be able to do that. But that right there is the order of operations. Step number 1, get the company match, the full company match. Step number 2, max out the HSA. Step 3, max out the Roth IRA. Step 4, go back to the 401k and do as much as you possibly can. Now, step 5 is not really part of the order of operations, and like I said, it's not really an option for everyone. In fact, it's actually an option for very few people, but I wanted to put this out because it's something that some people are unaware of. There are companies out there that offer an ESOP. It stands for Employer Stock Ownership Plan, or Employment Stock Ownership. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. It stands for something like that. Now, like I said, my company does not offer this, but there are 2 companies that I am particularly interested in starting to work for part-time and do just enough to become qualified. And to my understanding, I believe you have to average 1,000 hours a year as a part-timer to become eligible for an ESOP, which means the company that you work for is going to give you stock in the company, something separate. My boss's wife, she works for a privately held company, and she's worked there for quite a bit of time. She currently has 4 shares in this privately held company. Now, you might be thinking, whoa, wow, 4 whole shares, how impressive. Well, remember, this is a privately held company. Each share at the moment is worth $16,000. That's more than $60,000 worth of stock in this company. Will they go public? Who knows? If they don't, the longer she works for the company, the more stock in the company that they're going to give her. And it will appreciate in value as long as the company keeps on growing, which it's been for decades. If they do go public, guess what? Each share is going to be broken up a bunch of different ways. She's not going to lose value. The value is just going to be separated. Like a stock split, but by probably thousands. Turn that $16,000 stock into maybe a $50 to $100 stock. And it just multiplies how many number of shares you have. So if you have, it's like a pizza. An uncut pizza. It's a whole pizza right there. But you cut it up 8 different ways. You still have a whole pizza, but 8 different slices. So that's what an ESOP is. And there are 2 companies that I am very, very interested in working for. One is the one that I was just referencing, my boss's wife's company. And another one is actually right across the street from my current job. So I'm thinking maybe I can just clock out and just go across the street and clock back in. different job. Take care of yourselves, people. Set yourselves up for the future. You don't have to be a mega millionaire. You don't have to be a trillionaire, a billionaire, massive CEO level type of person. You can do it on a very small scale, and you can do it starting today. I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to retirement accounts, are you going by the order of operations that I had mentioned before? Number one, taking full advantage of the company match, whatever they offer you. Step number two, maxing out the HSA. Step number three, maxing out the Roth IRA. Step number four, going back to the 401k and increasing contribution limits and maybe working your way up to maxing it out potentially. Going to take a lot, $23,000, but you don't have to max it out. You could do your best. However much you can afford to contribute beyond the company match. That's the general order of operations right there. And also, do you work for, or have you ever worked for, or do you know anybody who works for a company that offers an ESOP, an employee stock ownership plan? Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive bonus content. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, a bunch of different designs, bunch of different colors, helping raise funds and awareness for a bunch of different charity organizations. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Over 50 different flavors to choose from. Link in the description. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. You can set yourself up a Roth IRA right there on the platform, completely free. And if you want to max it out this year, $6,500. If you want to max it out next year, it's being bumped up to $7,000. You don't have to max it out. You could just make small contributions if that's what you want, or you don't even have to set up a Roth IRA with them at all. But if you refer a friend or two friends or three friends or whatever, they always have a promo going on. So if you refer your friends, they're going to give you even more free stocks. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know one more time. What are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video? How important is it to you to set yourself up for the future? I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 85. Are you actively taking steps to prepare yourself and get yourself in a better situation, financially, physically, mentally, whatever it is? How important is it to you to set up and did you? Maybe you are retired. Did you take advantage of what your company was offering you? Did you take advantage of the variety of different tax advantage retirement accounts that exist out there? What has your experience been? You don't have to share any numbers with me, but if you had to do it all over again, would you do it all over again the way that you did it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.